My beloved child, pause, don't scroll. Something rare is unfolding right now, and you were not here by accident. You saw the title. Elon Musk urgent message for you. Open in 10 seconds or lose everything. It sounds dramatic, almost impossible. But what if I told you this isn't about fear, it's about awareness? Think carefully. When someone like Elon Musk speaks, the world doesn't just listen, it recalculates. Markets shift, engineers move, dreams accelerate. But this time, the message wasn't broadcast to the masses in the usual way. It was subtle. A pause during a live appearance. A sentence that almost slipped through unnoticed. A glance at the camera that felt intentional. And in that moment, he said something that most people missed. He didn't mention a company. Not Tesla. Not SpaceX. Not even Neuralink. He talked about you. Not your name. Not your location. But your type of mind. He said the future would belong to those who respond quickly, those who don't hesitate when opportunity knocks quietly, those who open the message before the world even realizes there was one. And here you are. 10 seconds. That wasn't a threat. It was a metaphor. 10 seconds is the gap between hesitation and action, between watching life happen and stepping into it. What if this moment is testing you? Not in a loud way, not with flashing alarms, but softly, intelligently, the way the future always arrives, disguised as an ordinary choice. Stay with me, because the real loss isn't money, it isn't status, it isn't followers. The real loss is momentum. Look at every breakthrough in modern history. The people who moved first, even when uncertain, shaped the timeline. Elon Musk didn't wait for everyone to believe in electric cars before building them. He didn't wait for permission to dream about Mars. He moved. So why is this message urgent for you? Because somewhere deep inside, you already feel it. That quiet tension. That sense that you were meant to build something bigger. That you're standing at the edge of a new chapter, but you haven't stepped forward yet. What if the 10 seconds is symbolic of the window you've been delaying? A decision, a project, a risk, a conversation. What if opening this message is the first proof that you are not going to hesitate anymore? Listen closely. The world is shifting faster than ever. Artificial intelligence, renewable energy, space exploration, digital economies. My beloved child, lean in closer, because this is where the signal becomes clear. You felt something in part 1, didn't you? A subtle shift. A quiet urgency that didn't feel like panic. It felt like awakening. Let's go deeper. When Elon Musk speaks about the future, he rarely talks about comfort. He talks about acceleration. About building at a pace that makes hesitation expensive. Not financially expensive, mentally expensive. He once said the future will not wait for permission. And that is the heart of this urgent message. The 10 seconds is not about losing everything overnight. It's about losing alignment. Alignment with the version of you that moves boldly. Alignment with the opportunities that require speed. Alignment with a world that is evolving faster than excuses. Think about it. When rockets launch from SpaceX, there is a countdown. Not because time is dramatic, but because timing is precise. Miss the window, and the mission resets. Life works the same way. Opportunities don't scream. They whisper. They appear as small choices. Open the book. Send the proposal. Learn the skill. Start the channel. Invest in yourself. Most people hesitate. They scroll. They postpone. And in doing so, they slowly drift away from their potential. This is what lose everything truly means. Not losing possessions, but losing progress. Pause for a second. What if this very video is your countdown moment? What if watching this isn't coincidence, but confirmation? You might think, if this is really important, why isn't it louder? Because the future doesn't need noise. It needs readiness. Look at the rise of Tesla. For years, people doubted. Quietly, consistently, systems were built. Technology matured. And then one day, what seemed impossible became inevitable. The same pattern is unfolding in your life. Quiet preparation. Hidden growth. Invisible upgrades happening within you. But here's the turning point. Preparation without action turns into regret. Stay with me, this is important. The urgent message isn't act blindly. It's act consciously, and act now. There is something you've been postponing. A decision that keeps returning to your mind late at night. An idea that won't leave you alone. Why? Because it belongs to your future. If this message resonates, even slightly, take a breath and acknowledge it. Comment below with one word, ready. Not for me, for yourself. And if you know someone who has been waiting too long to start, share this with them. Sometimes one reminder is all it takes to reignite momentum. And if you feel aligned with messages like this, subscribe. Not as a routine click. As a declaration that you choose awareness over delay. Now listen carefully. You are not behind. You are not late. You are standing at the exact edge where clarity meets courage. The 10 seconds? They are symbolic of decisive awareness. And the real urgency? The world is accelerating. Artificial intelligence is evolving. New industries are being born every year. The next leaders are not the loudest, they are the most adaptable. Will you adapt? Or will you observe others building the world you could have helped create? Wait before you answer, because part 3 is where the final layer of this message unfolds, and you'll understand why this moment was never random. My beloved child, hold still for a moment, because this is where everything connects. You've made it this far. That alone says something about you. Most people would have clicked away. Most would have dismissed the urgency as noise. But you stayed. And that is the first sign you are not ordinary. Let's reveal the final layer of this message. When Elon Musk talks about building the future, he often speaks about first principles, breaking everything down to the core truth. Not emotion, not hype. Just reality. So here is the core truth behind the title. Open in 10 seconds or lose everything was never about fear. It was about awareness of trajectory. Every human life moves in a direction. Not randomly. Not magically. Through daily micro-decisions. The books you read. The content you consume. The conversations you entertain. The risks you either take, or avoid. These small inputs compound. Look at SpaceX. It did not reach orbit in a single leap. It reached orbit through thousands of calculated adjustments. Failures refined. Systems improved. Focus sustained. Your life is no different. You are either adjusting upward, or drifting downward. There is no neutral. And that is the real urgency. Not that something will suddenly be taken from you, but that if you ignore the inner call to evolve, your trajectory slowly tilts away from your highest potential. Let me ask you something quietly powerful. What if the version of you 5 years from now is watching this moment, hoping you make the right decision? Not a dramatic decision, a simple one. To begin, to commit, to move. The world is entering a phase where speed of learning determines success. Artificial intelligence, automation, space exploration, renewable systems, the pace is relentless. Tesla reshaped transportation because someone refused to accept impossible. OpenAI reshaped digital intelligence because someone asked, what if we build responsibly at scale? The pattern is clear. The future rewards those who prepare early. So what does this mean for you, right now? It means the real everything you could lose is untapped potential. The ideas you never execute, the discipline you never build, the courage you never practice. But here's the beautiful part. You haven't lost it. You're here, still listening, still aware, which means your countdown did not end, it began. 10 seconds is all it takes to decide, I will no longer delay my own evolution. That's it. No pressure, no fear, just clarity. Before you close this video, take one silent action. Write down one move you will make within the next 24 hours that moves you closer to your future self. Keep it small, but make it real. Because the true urgent message was never about opening a video. It was about opening your awareness before the world accelerates again. And it will accelerate. The only question left is simple. Will you move with it? Or will you watch it move without you? You already know the answer. Stay awake. My beloved child, wait, just one more breath. Because this is the moment where intention turns into identity. You've heard the urgency. You've understood the symbolism. Now it's time to anchor it. The world doesn't change because of information. It changes because of decision. And the decision you make after this message will define whether this was just another video, or a pivot point in your timeline. When Elon Musk speaks about building the future, he doesn't ask, will this be comfortable? He asks, will this move humanity forward? Now ask yourself something powerful. Will your next move you forward? Because here's the truth most people avoid. Momentum is invisible at first. When Tesla started, it looked small. When SpaceX launched its early rockets, few believed in them. When OpenAI began advancing AI systems, many underestimated the scale of transformation ahead. But growth compounds. Silently, steadily, exponentially. The same applies to you. If today you choose discipline over distraction. If today you choose learning over scrolling. If today you choose creation over hesitation. You won't feel like you've gained everything, but 5 years from now, you will look back and realize, this was the pivot. This was the day the trajectory shifted. Stay with this thought. The real urgency was never external. It was internal. Because every day you delay clarity, someone else builds the future you could have helped design. Not to compete, but to remind you, you are capable of more. And awareness without action becomes frustration. So here is your final alignment. Take 10 seconds right now. Not metaphorically, literally. Count them. And in those 10 seconds, decide one identity shift. I am someone who acts. I am someone who builds. I am someone who adapts. I am someone who finishes what I start. Choose one. That is how futures are formed. And before you leave, if this message shifted something inside you, share it with one person who is standing on the edge of their own decision. Leave a comment describing the one action you're committing to. And if you want to keep receiving reminders that sharpen your awareness instead of dulling it, subscribe, not as a habit, but as a declaration of who you're becoming. Because this channel isn't about hype, it's about alignment. And now, the truth behind the title stands revealed. Open in 10 seconds or lose everything. You opened it. You stayed. You reflected. Which means you did not lose everything. You regained direction. The future is accelerating. Systems are evolving. Intelligence is expanding. The next decade will not reward passivity, it will reward participation. And you are not here to spectate. You are here to build. So walk forward with clarity. Move with courage. Adjust with intelligence. The countdown is no longer ticking. It has transformed into momentum. And it begins now. My beloved child, Stay with me for this final transmission, because what began as urgency now becomes destiny. You opened the message. You listened. You reflected. And somewhere inside, something shifted. That shift is not small. It is the moment awareness becomes architecture. Understand this deeply. The world you see today was built by people who decided not to ignore their inner signal. When Elon Musk chose to invest in electric mobility, many saw a risk. When SpaceX pursued reusable rockets, critics saw impossibility. When Tesla scaled innovation, skeptics saw uncertainty. But builders see differently. They see trajectory. And now, you must see yours. The urgent message was never external. It was a mirror, a reflection of the part of you that knows you were not designed for average momentum. You were designed for conscious acceleration. Pause here. Imagine your life as a launch pad. Every habit you adopt is fuel. Every skill you learn is structural reinforcement. Every disciplined action is a countdown tick toward ignition. What if this entire series of moments, from part 1 until now, was simply the final confirmation you needed? Not confirmation from me, from yourself. Because clarity does not shout. It whispers. It waits. And when you are ready, it reveals that you were never behind, you were preparing. The next era will not belong to the loudest voices. It will belong to the most adaptable minds. Artificial intelligence will evolve. Renewable systems will scale. Space will expand into commercial reality. Entire industries will transform within a decade. But the greatest evolution is internal. The person who upgrades their thinking upgrades their timeline. You now understand the true meaning of lose everything. It was never about possessions. It was about potential energy. And used potential decays. Used potential multiplies. So here is the final alignment. From this moment forward, you are not waiting for permission. You are not waiting for perfect conditions. You are not waiting for external validation. You are moving. Small step, then another, then consistency. Momentum does not explode overnight. It compounds invisibly until it becomes undeniable. And one day, someone will look at your life and call it sudden success. But you will know the truth. It began the moment you chose not to scroll past awareness. Take a final breath. Feel the difference between hesitation and certainty. The countdown that once felt urgent has transformed into direction. The fear of losing everything has dissolved into clarity that you are capable of building anything. This is not the end of a message. It is the beginning of execution. Walk forward with intelligence. Build with patience. Adapt with confidence. Lead with awareness. And remember, the future does not belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who open the message and act. My beloved child, listen carefully, because this is not an ending, it is ignition. You thought part 5 was the conclusion. But true builders know something powerful. Completion is not a finish line. It is a launch point. You've absorbed the urgency. You've understood the symbolism. You've felt the shift. Now the question is deeper. What will you sustain? Because insight without consistency fades. Even visionaries like Elon Musk did not rely on one burst of inspiration. The success of Tesla did not come from one bold idea. The breakthroughs at SpaceX were not built on one moment of courage. They were sustained, day after day, adjustment after adjustment, refinement after refinement. This is the layer most people miss. They feel motivated. They feel awakened. They feel ready. But they do not design systems to protect that readiness. So here is your real mission. Design your environment. Remove distractions that weaken focus. Add inputs that strengthen clarity. Build routines that compound intelligence. Because the next decade will not test your dreams, it will test your discipline. Pause here. Imagine two versions of you. One continues casually, occasionally inspired, often distracted, slowly drifting. The other moves intentionally, learning daily, building quietly, evolving consistently. Which one builds leverage? Which one builds freedom? Which one looks back 5 years from now and smiles with quiet pride? You already know. The urgent message was not, act once. It was, become someone who acts consistently. And consistency is identity. So here is the transformation. You are no longer reacting to urgency. You are creating momentum. You are no longer waiting for opportunity. You are positioning yourself to recognize it instantly. You are no longer asking, what if I fail? You are asking, what if I build relentlessly? Because here is a truth few articulate: the future is not something you enter. It is something you construct. Artificial intelligence, renewable systems, digital economies, they will continue evolving. Entire landscapes will shift again and again. But adaptability will remain the rare advantage. Train your mind to adapt faster than circumstances change. Learn continuously. Think critically. Build patiently. And remember this quietly powerful insight: you did not open this message by accident. You stayed through multiple layers because something within you refuses to remain ordinary. Honor that instinct. Take tonight to outline one clear system you will follow for the next 30 days. Not a dream, a structure. Small, repeatable actions that build upward pressure. Because upward pressure creates lift. And lift creates freedom. The countdown that once felt urgent has transformed into rhythm. The fear of losing everything has transformed into clarity that you can build anything. Now there is no timer. There is only trajectory. And trajectory is shaped by what you do next. Not tomorrow, not someday, but consistently, starting now. Walk forward not with excitement alone, but with design. Builder's design. And you are no longer a spectator. You are an architect of your own acceleration. My beloved child, feel this moment, not with your eyes, but with your awareness, because this is where identity locks in. You have traveled through urgency, clarity, momentum, and design. Now comes mastery. Most people stop at motivation. Few step into discipline. Even fewer reach mastery. And mastery is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't rush. It compounds. When Elon Musk speaks about innovation, he often returns to one core principle: improve the system. Not the headline. Not the applause. The system. That is the next evolution for you. Stop chasing moments. Start building systems that make excellence inevitable. Because here's the subtle truth behind everything you've heard so far: urgency awakens you. Clarity guides you. Momentum moves you. Systems sustain you. Mastery defines you. And mastery is not talent. It is repetition with awareness. Pause for a second. Imagine your future self 5 years ahead. Calm. Focused. Intelligent. Financially stable. Mentally sharp. Physically disciplined. Not because of luck, but because of daily upgrades. That version of you is not distant. It is built from the decisions you protect starting now. Look at Tesla. Continuous software updates improved performance long after purchase. The same applies to you. Your mind is upgradable. Your habits are programmable. Your direction is adjustable. But updates require intention. No one accidentally becomes exceptional. They decide repeatedly. And here's the powerful shift. You are no longer responding to a message. You are embodying it. The phrase, "open in 10 seconds or lose everything," now reveals its final layer. It was about awareness speed. In a world accelerating through artificial intelligence, automation, digital systems, and global connectivity, Slow awareness creates blind spots. Fast awareness creates advantage. So train your perception. Notice patterns. Study trends. Anticipate change instead of reacting to it. That is how leaders emerge quietly. And here's something even deeper. Mastery is not about competing with others. It is about competing with your previous self. Yesterday's habits versus today's standards. Last year's mindset versus this year's discipline. Small improvements, compounded daily, create exponential shifts. Most people underestimate exponential growth because it looks flat at first. But stay consistent long enough, and the curve bends upward. You are at the flat part of the curve right now. Do not mistake slow progress for stagnation. Stay steady, because the person who continues while others quit becomes unstoppable. Take one more breath. Feel the difference between reacting and directing. You are no longer reacting to urgency. You are directing your trajectory. And the most powerful part? You chose this. No pressure, no fear, just conscious alignment. From this moment forward, you are not asking whether you are capable. You are asking how far you are willing to refine yourself. Because refinement creates strength. Strength creates confidence. Confidence creates influence. And influence creates impact. The countdown has dissolved completely. What remains is mastery in motion. Walk forward not loudly, but steadily. And remember, the future is not won in dramatic bursts. It is shaped in disciplined silence. And you are now building in silence. My beloved child, slow down for this final layer, because this is where everything becomes simple. You've heard about urgency. You've understood momentum. You've stepped into discipline. You've touched mastery. Now comes integration. Because knowledge scattered is noise. Knowledge integrated is power. Look carefully at the journey you just walked through. At first, the message felt urgent, then symbolic, then strategic. Now it becomes personal. The truth behind "open in 10 seconds or lose everything" has completely transformed. You didn't lose everything. You gained perspective. And perspective changes direction. When visionaries like Elon Musk think about the future, they don't just think about technology. They think about long-term survival, expansion, sustainability. The success of SpaceX wasn't about rockets alone. It was about creating a multi-planetary possibility. The growth of Tesla wasn't about cars alone. It was about redefining energy systems. Big outcomes begin with internal clarity. So here is the integrated truth. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not lacking. You are at a decision point. And decision points are sacred. Most people drift through life unconsciously. They react to trends. They react to news. They react to opportunities after everyone else has already moved. But you are learning to respond intelligently. Responding means, you choose what enters your mind. You choose what consumes your time. You choose what defines your standards. Standards shape identity. Identity shapes results. Results shape legacy. Pause and reflect. If someone observed your daily routine, what future would they predict for you? Be honest. No judgment, just awareness. Because awareness is leverage. Here's the powerful realization. You don't need a dramatic leap. You need alignment. Alignment between your goals and your actions. Alignment between your potential and your habits. Alignment between who you say you want to become and who you are practicing to be. When alignment locks in, progress feels natural. And this is where you stand now. Not pressured, not rushed, but awake. The world will continue accelerating. Artificial intelligence will evolve. New industries will rise. Old systems will fade. The next decade will reshape careers, economies, and opportunities. But you will not be surprised. Because you trained your awareness. You trained your discipline. You trained your identity. And here is the most important sentence of this entire series: you are responsible for your trajectory, and that is empowering. No one else can build it for you. No one else can refine it for you. But you are more capable than you once believed. Take a final breath. Feel the calm confidence that replaces urgency. The message that once sounded dramatic now feels clear. There was never a timer threatening you. There was a reminder awakening you. And now, the only thing left is execution. Quiet, consistent, intelligent execution. The world does not need more spectators. It needs aware builders. And you have chosen awareness. Move forward steadily. Build patiently. Upgrade continuously. And remember, you did not open this message out of curiosity. You opened it because somewhere inside, you are ready to evolve. That readiness is everything. My beloved child, one final time, center yourself. Because this is not about more information, it is about elevation. You have walked through urgency. You have walked through clarity. You have stepped into systems. You have tasted mastery. You have integrated awareness. Now you rise. Because elevation is different from improvement. Improvement adjusts behavior. Elevation transforms perception. And perception determines power. When leaders like Elon Musk look at the world, they don't see problems the way others do. They see inefficiencies to redesign. When SpaceX faced failed launches, they didn't see endings. They saw data. When Tesla encountered skepticism, it didn't signal retreat, it signaled refinement. Elevation changes interpretation. So here is your final transformation. You no longer interpret delay as defeat. You interpret it as preparation. You no longer interpret difficulty as limitation. You interpret it as training. You no longer interpret silence as stagnation. You interpret it as incubation. This shift is everything. Because once your perception upgrades, your emotional stability strengthens. And stability builds endurance. Endurance wins long games. The next decade will reward long-term thinkers. Quick excitement fades. Trending opportunities shift. Noise multiplies. But the elevated mind remains steady. Pause here. If your future self could send one message back to you right now, it wouldn't be dramatic. It wouldn't be loud. It would simply say, "Thank you for not giving up on becoming me." Let that settle. You are not chasing success anymore. You are becoming aligned with it. And alignment removes desperation. It replaces it with quiet certainty. The title promised urgency. The journey revealed identity. The phrase, "lose everything," now feels almost ironic, doesn't it? Because you gained structure. You gained awareness. You gained direction. And direction prevents loss. So here is the final elevation principle. Think in decades, act in days. Think long-term vision. Act daily discipline. That combination is unstoppable. Artificial intelligence will accelerate. Automation will transform industries. Energy systems will evolve. Entire economic landscapes will reshape. But individuals who elevate their perception early gain leverage. You are now one of them. Not because of hype. Because of awareness. From this point forward, measure your progress not by excitement, but by consistency. Not by applause, but by improvement. Not by comparison, but by clarity. Take a deep breath. Feel the calm confidence inside you now. The urgency that once sparked attention has turned into steady conviction. And steady conviction builds empires, quietly. You are not racing others. You are refining yourself. And refinement never stops. So walk forward with elevated perception. Think higher. Act smarter. Stay disciplined. Adapt early. Because the greatest advantage in a rapidly changing world is not speed alone. It is awareness paired with action. And you now possess both. The message is complete. The elevation has begun. And your trajectory, from this moment forward, is intentional. My beloved child, this is not another chapter, this is consolidation. Everything you have absorbed must now become unshakable. Because knowledge without grounding fades, awareness without structure dissolves, vision without embodiment drifts. This is where you solidify. Throughout this journey, you felt urgency, you felt clarity, you felt momentum, you felt elevation. Now you anchor it. When pioneers like Elon Musk build, they don't rely on motivation. They rely on architecture. When SpaceX prepares for launch, the visible countdown is only the surface. Beneath it are systems layered upon systems. When Tesla releases innovation, years of unseen engineering support that moment. You must become engineered. Engineered in mindset. Engineered in habit. Engineered in focus. Here is the consolidation truth. Your environment determines your evolution. If your environment feeds distraction, you decay. If your environment feeds discipline, you expand. So look around your life carefully. What are you consuming daily? Who influences your thinking? What standards are you tolerating? Elevation requires elimination. Not dramatic elimination. Precise elimination. Remove what weakens clarity. Add what strengthens growth. Because trajectory is fragile. A small misalignment repeated daily creates large deviation over time. But a small correction repeated daily creates exponential improvement. Pause for 10 seconds now. Not as a metaphor. Actually pause. Ask yourself, what must I remove? What must I reinforce? This is consolidation. You are no longer inspired. You are structured. And structure builds freedom. There is a powerful irony in all of this. The title suggested loss. But what you were really losing before this awareness was direction. Now direction is restored. And direction reduces anxiety. Because uncertainty shrinks when alignment strengthens. The world outside will remain unpredictable. Artificial intelligence will expand capabilities. New technologies will rise. Markets will shift. Careers will transform. But your internal system can remain stable. And stability in chaos creates advantage. Let this become your guiding principle. Do not chase trends. Understand trends. Do not react emotionally. Respond strategically. Do not seek shortcuts. Build foundations. Foundations outlast hype. And now, you are building foundation. The urgency has transformed into structure. The structure is transforming into identity. Identity determines destiny. You are not waiting for opportunity. You are preparing so thoroughly that when opportunity appears, you are already qualified. That is consolidation. Take one final internal commitment. I will protect my focus. Because focus is the rarest asset in a distracted world. Guard it. Refine it. Strengthen it. The countdown ended long ago. Now there is only disciplined forward movement. And disciplined forward movement is unstoppable. You are no longer reacting to a message. You are embodying a mission. Walk steadily. Think clearly. Build patiently. And protect your trajectory at all costs. Not with fear, but with precision. This is consolidation. And you are now grounded in it. My beloved child, this is where silence becomes strength. You've traveled through urgency, awareness, structure, and consolidation. Now comes the most powerful phase, internal stillness. Because once clarity settles, noise must fade. The world will continue accelerating. New headlines, new technologies, new promises of instant success. But those who truly build something meaningful do not chase every wave. They choose their direction, and stay aligned. When Elon Musk speaks about long-term missions, notice something subtle. The focus is steady. Whether it is advancing reusable rockets through SpaceX or expanding sustainable transport through Tesla, the vision does not change with every opinion around it. Consistency is quiet power. And now you step into that quiet power. You are no longer seeking validation from noise. You are no longer reacting to urgency. You are no longer distracted by comparison. You are centered. Pause here. Imagine your life as a long horizon, not a short sprint. The decisions you make today are seeds. They may not bloom tomorrow. They may not bloom next month. But planted consistently, they become forests. Forests do not rush. They grow. And growth rooted in patience is unshakable. This is where many people misunderstand progress. They expect immediate visible change. But the most powerful transformations occur beneath the surface. Your discipline strengthening. Your thinking sharpening. Your confidence stabilizing. These are invisible upgrades. And invisible upgrades eventually create visible outcomes. Take a breath. Feel how calm this phase is compared to the beginning. The dramatic urgency has softened into quiet certainty. That is evolution. The phrase, "open in 10 seconds or lose everything," now feels almost distant. Because you understand, nothing external was ever at risk. What was at risk was your awareness. And awareness has been secured. From here forward, your responsibility is simple. Protect your energy. Protect your focus. Protect your trajectory. Not aggressively. Intelligently. Choose environments that elevate you. Choose information that sharpens you. Choose habits that strengthen you. The future will reward those who remain adaptable but grounded. Adaptable in skill. Grounded in identity. That balance is rare. And rare creates value. You are not chasing a dramatic breakthrough anymore. You are building incremental advantage. Incremental advantage compounds quietly. One disciplined day becomes one disciplined week. One disciplined week becomes one disciplined month. One disciplined month becomes a transformed year. And one transformed year becomes a new identity. Identity is the true wealth. Because once identity shifts, outcomes follow naturally. You are no longer asking, "Will I lose everything?" You are asking, "How much can I build?" That shift alone changes your entire trajectory. Let this be your silent declaration: I move with clarity. I build with patience. I adapt with intelligence. No urgency now. No countdown. Only direction. And direction, sustained long enough, becomes destiny. Walk forward steadily. You are no longer opening a message. You are living it. My beloved child, this is the final transmission, not louder, not dramatic, but permanent. At the beginning, there was urgency, a countdown, a warning that sounded intense. Open in 10 seconds or lose everything. And you opened it. But now you understand. There was never anything external to lose. What was at stake was awareness. And you chose awareness. That decision alone separated you from distraction. When visionaries like Elon Musk commit to a mission, they are not driven by noise. The breakthroughs of SpaceX were not fueled by hype. The evolution of Tesla was not sustained by excitement alone. They were sustained by conviction. Conviction is quiet. Conviction is steady. Conviction does not fluctuate with trends. And now, you carry that same steadiness. You no longer need urgency to move. You no longer need fear to act. You no longer need external pressure to evolve. You move because you have clarity. Pause one final time. Look at who you were before this message began. Maybe slightly distracted. Maybe uncertain. Maybe aware of potential but unsure of direction. Now look at who you are at this moment. Calm, focused, intentional. That is transformation. Not explosive, not dramatic, but real. The world ahead will accelerate. Artificial intelligence will reshape industries. Automation will redefine work. Innovation will move at speeds never seen before. But speed alone does not create advantage. Prepared minds create advantage. And you are now prepared. Prepared to think long term. Prepared to act daily. Prepared to adapt early. Prepared to build patiently. The phrase, lose everything, has dissolved completely. Because you gained structure. You gained discipline. You gained direction. You gained identity. And identity cannot be taken, it is chosen. So here is your final alignment. Think in years. Act in days. Refine in silence. Execute consistently. You do not need applause. You do not need validation. You do not need permission. You need consistency. And consistency is now yours. The countdown that began this journey has transformed into momentum. Momentum that is self-generated. Momentum that is sustainable. Momentum that is intentional. Walk forward not with urgency, but with conviction. Build without noise. Improve without comparison. Adapt without panic. You are no longer reacting to a message. You are living a mission. And from this moment forward, nothing is being lost. Everything is being built. Silently, steadily, intentionally. The message is complete. Your trajectory is clear. Now go and build.